Well, good afternoon and welcome to the Dad Whisperer. I am your host, Dr. Michelle Watson, and I'm so excited that here on the second week of this new program, you are choosing to take time out of your busy schedule to join this conversation. Thank you so much. I know you heard the story last week, but in case you missed it, the name The Dad Whisperer was given to me by a guy in Chicago on an interview for my book, Dad, Here's What I Really Need From You, A Guide for Connecting with Your Daughter's Heart. That's the book I wrote a couple years ago. And this guy called me the Dad Whisperer, and it just stuck. And I've had men say, we do not like women shouting at us. And I'm like, okay, is this working for you? And they go, yes, because we can tell that you are championing our cause as dads. Because I really believe that you as fathers, as you dial into the heart space of your girls, this has the most potential to change our country for the better than anything else. So if you missed the conversation last week, every single week, I'm going to give you a 3-point model. Okay? So every week you can kind of have a template to hang the conversation on. Because I realize that you're not seeing me, you're driving or you're at work or you're maybe listening to this in in your ear on a podcast at the gym. I want you to picture these 3 points. And they are on your mark, get set, go. And what that means, on your mark, can you picture all of you as dads standing in a line getting ready to run the race? Okay? You're lined up and I'm your coach. And I'm over there going, I believe in you. You can do this. For such a time as this, it's time to run the race as a dad. And I'm standing there cheering you on, okay? On your mark. Every week, that's the topic that I'm going to bring up. Get set. That's where you're getting into position. I'm going to give you stories, bullet points, action steps to help make that topic each week make sense so that your head information that you understand trickles its way down to your heart. Does that make sense? And then go. It's your action step that you're going to have 1 week from Monday to Monday, every single week, where you get to put into action one idea. So I don't want to overload you where you're like, oh my gosh, that was so much material. I don't know where to start. Every week, one action step, one theme, one thing that you can do as a dad to your daughters, and these things work with your sons to help make your relationship better. How's that sound? Good? Okay. Well, on the mark this week, on your mark, here's the theme. Mirror, mirror. Mirror, mirror. That's it. Messages on mirrors. That's what we're going to talk about today. You good with that? Okay, you're probably going, why are you talking about mirrors? Because here's the truth. A lot of men I've talked to, even the ABBA Project co-leader that I have, Clay Swanson, has told me, I never look in a mirror. I don't know, it's good. I put on clothes and I go. So talking about mirrors is obviously something that is a big deal to us girls. I'm the oldest of 4 girls. I've mentored and counseled girls for my whole adult life for 37 years, I guess it is now. And we girls, we live a lot of times by the mirror, okay? So I want to help you as a dad understand the negative power a lot of times of a mirror to us as girls. How's that sound? Good? Okay, because remember, my goal is to whisper in your ear to help you become a hero that you want to be and that your daughter needs you to be. Does that sound good? Okay, I'm going to ask you a question today. See if you know where this quote came from. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? Okay, you know where that came from, right? It's from a fairy tale called Snow White. Now think about that story. I'm sure you remember it, where the infamous queen, the stepmother that was the bad dude in the story, would look on the wall at a mirror and she would ask a question every single day. Am I beautiful, right? She would say, who's the fairest of them all? And the mirror would tell her, it's you, oh my queen. And one day that mirror said, it ain't you anymore, woman. It's your stepdaughter. And that was when the war was on, right? So at first glance, it might seem like, oh, that's a benign inquiry. She asked the mirror, am I beautiful? But do you dads know that your daughter every single day is asking that same question? And did you notice that this woman asked an inanimate object on the wall, a mirror, a question to define or describe or clarify her question of, am I beautiful? And girls are asking inanimate objects every single day that same question. They're saying, am I enough? Am I skinny enough, pretty enough, good enough, talented enough? Am I basically enough? And she is asking inanimate objects that question, whether it be the number on the scale, the size on her jeans. She's looking at a magazine cover and going, I don't look like her. Okay, just between you and me, they are tampering. You know that, right? They're tampering with that cover so that even that model is changed in shape and size and her defects are blurred. But you know what? Your daughter is getting killed out there all the time saying, I'm not as skinny as her. I'm not as qualified as her. I'm not as smart as her. Oh, my word. And that one, I'm not as competent in sports as her. All the time. There's different ways that daughters get beat up. And like I said, most men, you guys don't struggle with the mirror by and large. You look in that thing and go, looking pretty good today. Not us as girls. We are getting killed by the mirrors. Okay? If you heard the things that I hear in my office, because I work a lot with eating disorders in my counseling practice. I work with girls, some guys, but mostly women that have struggled with that because guess what? That's part of my story. You guys, I've had an eating disorder through most of my 20s. I had binge eating disorder. I get the brutal nature of having to struggle with these kinds of issues because they've impacted me. I mean, to be honest with you, they still do. It still matters to me what my dad says to me. And a lot of dads in the ABBA Project, if you weren't here last week, that's a dads group that I lead once a year from September to May, where I help dads of daughters ages 13 to 30 dial in to the heart space of their girls. And I've had many dads tell me, I'm really uncomfortable with the word beautiful. If I can tell my daughter, you're pretty today or you look nice today, I'm telling you guys, you got to trust me on this one. Because remember, I am helping you decode your daughter. The word beautiful has way more impact to us as girls. Tell your daughters the beauty that you see when you look at them. Because back to my story about eating disordered girls, eating disordered women, is I have had the most beautiful women. I'm telling you, all of them with eating disorders are some of the most physically attractive, which I know isn't the whole thing. It's about being internally beautiful. And that's where you want to affirm her there too. But yet if you saw the beautiful women sitting in front of my, face, sitting in my office with tears pouring down their cheeks saying, when I look in the mirror, what I hear back is, you're ugly, you're fat, you're a pig. No wonder no guys like you. It is so brutal that if you men, if you dads heard what girls hear in their heads when they look in the mirror, you would not sit there passively. I am telling you honestly, you would get in there and you would fight for your girls to hear your truth against the lies in there. It's heartbreaking for me to hear the disconnect between like the reality, I guess you could say, of what I see, who I see, and the reality of what she sees and what she believes. And your daughters need you dads to do battle for them. Every girl needs to see herself the way you truly see her. You guys, I could sit here and weep when I think about the power of the lies in a girl's head and the way that you as a dad have the power with your words to heal, to speak life into that place where your daughter is asking that question, am I beautiful? And she needs you, dad, to answer her question. Because here's the truth. If she doesn't hear the answer to that question from you, she will find another, quote, mirror on another wall who will tell her that she is. You know what I mean by another mirror? I'm mostly talking about a guy. And a lot of them are the bad dudes that you don't want your daughter with. I've had dads that I talk with or am in the ABBA Project with who say, I know what I was like as a kid, as a teenager. That's why I'm terrified for her to get around them. And I'm saying, okay, then she needs more time with you. This means you, as you turn your heart toward your girl, are speaking to her so that she can replay the words that you've said about how you see her as beautiful. If you're just tuning in now, okay, I just want you to know who this is that's talking to you, men. My name is Michelle Watson, and I am simply the Dad Whisperer. I happen to be an author of a book that has taken all of my experiences and passion for dads, and I've written a book to put a tool in your hands as men, and it's called Dad, Here's What I Really Need From You, a guide for connecting with your daughter's heart. And in it are stories and bullet points. I had dads say, get to the point already, Michelle. That's what we want, is short chapters that tell us what to do to fix the relationships with our girls. And then in the back, I've got dad-daughter date questionnaires so you can take your daughters out, dads, open up the book and read the questions, how they're written, and I guarantee you it's going to open up a different kind of conversation between you. If you want to get the book, you can go to Amazon or you can go to my website, drmichellewatson.com, drmichellewatson.com. I've got resources and tools there for you. I write a Dad-Daughter Friday blog every other week where you can sign up for that to come into your inbox. And then if you've got questions, write me at drmichelle@thedadwhisperer.com. And let's keep the conversation going. That's what this is about. It's not me telling you what to do. It's me standing in the background, cheering you on as a dad. Sound good? Because really we're a team. That's what I want you to see this as, is we're on the same team. And I want to coach you as you run your race. So today we're doing the On Your Mark, Get Set, Go. On your mark, the theme today is messages on mirrors. We're now in the Get Set part of the conversation in these 26 minutes every Monday, where you get to understand better with more clarity how to put that tool into action. Does that make sense? Okay. So I'm telling you, dads, today, is your daughter is asking inanimate objects every single day, whether it be the mirror on her wall, looking at the number on a scale, whether she's comparing herself to magazine covers or looking at sizes on her jeans or calories on a box of cereal. She's asking these inanimate objects whether what she's doing is right, whether she's enough, but more importantly, she is asking the question, am I beautiful? And she needs you as a dad to step in and tell her the answer to that question. She will never tire. I promise you, she will never tire of hearing you tell her the good things that you see when you look at her. You got to trust me on that, because I'm telling you the truth. Would I lie to you, baby? Would I lie to you? Okay, there you go. So here's the truth. She will internalize your view of her. Let me tell you what one of the Abba Project dads said. This dad's name is Rick, okay? And he, last year when he heard this conversation about how important it is that dads tell their daughters they're beautiful, he said it just like this. We've got a job to do, men. We need to reinforce what we see in our daughters because it counters what society is telling them as women. Isn't that good? I agree, Rick. You dads have a job to do. So here's the deal. Whether you have a son or a daughter, be the mirror. Be the mirror. Be his or her mirror who reflects loving, affirming, life-breathing truth to your kids. Okay, so if you have a daughter, let me start there. Give her specifics about what you see in her, where you see her as beautiful and strong. What about her eyes are breathtaking? Like you may say, I love the shade of blue in your eyes. You remind me of your mother. Or something like that. Or what about her personality is being creatively expressed, even in her outfit? Like, go, hon, I love the way you put that outfit together today. It was such a creative twist. Now you might go, oh my word, I never would have put those patterns together. But affirm her creativity. Does that make sense? Or another idea is, what about her character was reflected maybe by a response to how she, didn't just bite her brother's head off at breakfast or actually shared. Like you go, I love that about your character that you were giving today. Does that make sense? You're giving specifics. Okay, if you have a son, why don't you tell him, hey, what about him? Where did you see courage today? Okay, it might be as silly as, you know what? I love that you got down all your vitamins today. That took courage. Maybe it's the way he actually helped his younger sister and you were like, you know what? I saw Jesus in you today. Maybe it's something about his physical strength. You guys know that your sons need to hear you affirm their physical prowess. You may want to say to him, I saw such strength in you today because you didn't quit in raking the leaves and I know you were tired. Your kids will internalize your view of them. Does that make sense? and they're going to replay the tapes. They're going to replay the tapes for good or for harm. Both of them play, but you want to put in more positives. If you've had just a bad day and you bit your kid's head off, that's okay. Go make amends, but get in there and affirm, affirm, affirm. Okay, so let me repeat. Today, on your mark, the topic is messages on mirrors, mirror, mirror. Get set. We've just broken it down. I've told you stories. I've explained it. We've kind of given shape to it, right? We're giving it more understanding so that your head can understand why this is important to get down into your heart space so your heart can turn towards your daughters, right? And your sons. Okay, number 3, here's the go part. On your mark, get set, go. And this is your practical battle plan. Okay, that's the go part. Here's the action that I want you dads to take between today and next Monday. Write me, right, at Dr. Michelle at thedadwhisperer.com and tell me how this goes. Okay, here's the go part. I want you today to go get a dry erase marker or a pack of sticky notes, okay? And you are going to change your daughter's life with those 2 inanimate objects. Talk about, hitting that fairy tale right where it needs to be hit. Because you're going to counter the negative messages in her head by, in your handwriting, either with a dry erase marker on the mirror in her bathroom or her bedroom or her rearview mirror in her car, you are going to put your truth on the actual mirror where she oftentimes, not all the time, but oftentimes looks in that exact mirror and in her head is hearing all that's wrong with her. The flaws are accentuated and exaggerated. But can you imagine the power of your truth, your words on that exact mirror? Are you tracking with me? Whether on sticky notes or with a dry erase marker. Because it will honestly pack a punch to have something in writing rather than in technology, which is where most of us write anymore. So let me tell you 3 stories real quick. This is still part of the go, but I want you to we'll back up to the get set so it makes sense. I want to tell you a story about Brittany. When she was 13, her dad, she's 15 now, but her dad was in the ABBA project and he went home and did the messages on mirrors thing with her. Well, I was at their house, probably 4 or 5 months later, and I went up to Brittany's room. We were having a conversation, and I looked in her bathroom, and Dad's messages on sticky notes from top to bottom. That's how Dad did it. He stacked them one on top of the other vertically. The messages were still on her mirror months later. And I'm telling you, I hear this all the time. And here's what Dad wrote. To my beautiful and kind and thoughtful and hardworking and smart and fun-loving and fun and dependable and integrous and trusting and caring and Jesus-following and loving daughter. Can you believe he put all those words on sticky notes, one on top of the other? And on the bottom of it, he put, you, Brittany, are awesome and beautiful, just like your mom. And I love you and adore you. You are God's gift to us. Oh, my word. Now do you get why she wouldn't take it down? And the power of a dad's words right there on a mirror that a daughter looks in every day literally heals her from the inside out. Let me tell you about Danielle. When Danielle was 25, so it's a couple years ago too, she came in one day and talked to me with tears pouring down her face. And here's what I heard. Okay, Michelle, my dad is so awesome. This week, he put all these messages, on sticky notes on my mirror and, told me all these awesome things. And you guys, I am telling you, I was sitting there going, okay, I know that Mark was in the ABBA project years ago, but he just read the blog I wrote for the National Center for Fathering on this topic. And I knew that's where he got the idea. But I'm telling you, there's no way I was going to tell him that was my idea. Dad gets full credit for that one. So as she sat there, she pulls her phone out, still weeping, going, look at what my dad wrote. Here's what he put on sticky notes. Each one I'm going to tell you was a different sticky note. He put, you are kind and giving to your family. Love, Dad. Another one said, Danielle, you have a big heart. Love, Dad. Another one said, you are beautiful inside and out. Love, Dad. I love that every time. Like she didn't know it was Dad. But look he just put his name on there, almost like a stamp to just highlight the truth he was telling her. He said, Danielle, on another one, keep up the great work at school. You will cross the finish line very soon and start a new chapter. The last one I'll tell you that he said was, trust in the Lord and he will direct your path. Lean on him always. Love, Dad. Is that amazing or what? Oh, my word. Okay, I got to tell you one more story. And this is from a dad named Elliot. And Elliot, oh, my word, he read that same blog on the National Center for Fathering. And he went home and wrote on his daughter's mirror, took a picture of it, and then sent it to me. And here's what it said. Dr. Watson, oh, excuse me, I'm backing up. I didn't tell you what he wrote. He wrote on the mirror this whole thing about the power of his daughter's generosity that day. He said that his daughter, Sarah, this is what he wrote me in an email about the picture. He said, Max is 13 and in 7th grade. I attached a copy of my mirror message from today. He said, yesterday, Max dumped her piggy bank and gave $85.14 to a charitable fundraiser for a boy with leukemia at her school. That prompted me, he said, to put the comments that I just did, where I wrote to her, hey, Max, the mirror reveals only the fact that you are beautiful on the outside. Your charity and willingness to give to others reflects how beautiful you are on the inside. Okay, I'm in tears by this point, right? Reading this. And then he goes, you are simply beautiful in every way. I am so proud of who you are and love you, Dad. Oh, my word. Look at that. This dad went, now I know what to go do. I'm going to go write this on her mirror. I'm telling you, take pictures of what you write to your girls and send them to me at drmichelle@thedadwhisperer.com. I want to see them because remember, we're partners here. I'm your coach cheering you on. I want to know how this makes a difference. I told you I was done with my stories, but welcome to Venus. We've always got one more, don't we? I know, too many words. Give me grace. Okay, I met Tim last November at a men's conference. I spoke at the National Coalition of Ministries to Men conference, and I gave out dry erase markers to every dad there. The next month, I'm at the Fatherhood Commission conference in Georgia, and Tim comes up to me and he goes, oh, my word, Michelle, I got to tell you the story. He goes, I went home from that conference, and he said, I had my brown dry erase marker in my hand, and I'm like, okay, I'm a little gun shy about how this is going to work, so I'm going to start simple. So he goes, I wrote on my 10-year-old daughter Olivia's mirror, and I just said, happy Saturday, Olivia. Have a great day. Love, Dad. Because that's what I put on there. And he said, she never said anything. So I thought, okay, well, that was a bomb. But he goes, the next day, my wife came up to me and said, are you going to write on there again? He goes, well, why would I? She didn't seem to say anything or like it. She said, no. She just took her finger with what you wrote and crossed out the letters, erased them, S-A-T-U-R. And she's waiting for you to write S-U-N. She's ready for you today to update the message. So he was like, guess it worked. He said a couple weeks later, his daughter came home for Thanksgiving break and said from college, how come I don't have any messages on my mirror? He didn't even think she would care or notice. So he said, this was the best line. He goes, Michelle, I got an away game now. And he pulls his dry erase marker here in Rome, Georgia, out of the back pocket of his jeans and said, I've written on mirrors here. He goes, now I send them to my girls. Wherever I go, I don't leave home without it. Is that the best story? And another dad right there, TJ, said, hey, I do it with my sons and it works with them too. Is that awesome or what? So today, I'm Dr. Michelle Watson, the Dad Whisperer. On your mark, messages on mirrors. That's the theme. Get set. Go get dry erase markers. Go get a pack of sticky notes. And the go part is this week from today until next Monday. I want you to write as many notes as you can on the mirrors of your daughters and sons' lives in their space, their living space. I say it's their lives because really, like Paul says, you're writing on their hearts. You're writing a letter on their hearts by doing this. And here is what you will do by taking action this week. That's the go part. Make it happen. Is you will be living out the truth of James 1:22-25 that simply says, don't fool yourself into thinking that you are a listener when you are anything but. Letting the word go in one ear and out the other. Act on what you hear. Say that with me. Act on what you hear. Because those who hear and don't act are like those who glance in the mirror, walk away, and 2 minutes later have no idea who they are or what they look like. Verse 25 says, but whoever catches a glimpse of the revealed counsel of God, I love this, even out of the corner of his eye, and sticks with it. That's the key. You got to keep doing this to take action. Is no distracted scatterbrain, but a man or woman of action. And that scripture ends with this awesome statement. That person will find delight and affirmation in the action. So Dad, take action so that you can be the hero that you want to be and that your daughter and son need you to be. On your mark, get set, go.